It's like saying, this is the church, and here's the steeple. Open the door, and there's all the people. Remember that?
I do.
Anyway, some time back, I asked Iden, I knew we were missing one piece. The whole point is to put the tiles down, if you're doing it by yourself, to cover the whole board, but there'll always be two pieces left over. And you can't have any lopping over the side or leave any holes. So I wanted to know what piece was missing so we could try to duplicate it. And when he finished laying everything down, he said, Grandma, there are two pieces missing. And he rubber banded them together, and these are the two pieces that were missing. It was my plan to have Kathy, when she took me to Des Moines next time, go to a hobby shop and get some balsam wood. We were going to cut out pieces, and then she would paint them. So I laid them on the corner of the blanket box, right there by the thermometer, where I was going to leave them until she came. Well, she did come, and I forgot to ask her about that. She came a second time, and I went to pick them up and remind her of what I wanted, and they were not there. And so it had been probably 2 months or 3, and I asked my cleaning girls to get under the blanket box with the yardstick and never could find it. That was months ago. Now, I never gave it any thought again because in my mind they were gone. The first night that I slept alone after Raymond died on Thursday, this was on Sunday night or Saturday night, that I was in my bedroom alone. When he was in the hospital bed, that bookcase on the other side of his bed was used for a side table for cotton swabs and water and that kind of thing. When hospice left, they cleaned the top off, and all that was on there was a double picture of Raymond with the grandchildren and bookends. So when I went to bed, I got up that next morning, I went on the other side of the bed to pull up the covers, and there on top of the bookcase were these two pieces, just like this, rubber banded together.
Wow.
I'm still puzzled about that. And 2 days ago, when I went downstairs to get something, and on the workbench are these two pieces of paper. Now I know they were not on the workbench. Kathy's been down there with me, others have been down there with me. If I had seen these, I would have picked them up because they're out of place on the workbench. And I picked these up yesterday, and they're reflections on autumn. It's an article by Faith Baldwin, but there's one page missing. It's not finished. So I asked Kathy last night about this, and she said, Mother, I know that paper wasn't there before. The other one is the urn that I have his ashes in, that big fat blue Chinese urn. He loved it. I almost gave it away numerous times because it was in the way, and used to have it on the blanket box, but then we moved up the television, you know, and we had to put it somewhere else. But I never did. And when it came what to do with Raymond's ashes, I thought, that's exactly where we'll put them. So Paige went out, we took it out on the table and put the ashes, scrunched them, put them through that little opening. But you know, the third mystery was, after after the little girl that was at the service,
Ruby?
little with the red curls, she was here to visit in the spring, and she loved that little lid, and she would carry that around with her. She's 18 months old then, and when she left, we couldn't find the lid, and her daddy would take it and put it back on, and then she would bring these little things over and put them on the magnetic things. And then Ramo kept handing her all the other magnets off the refrigerator, and she kept putting them on there. Well, the lid was something that was a mystery. I asked the girls about that too. We couldn't find the lid. And one day it appeared. There it was. I don't know where it came from. But it was intact when we wanted to use it, so that's where his ashes are, in that round thing. Okay. And I always straighten it, and it doesn't stay. Kathy put these on the wall. But this, I think, is beautiful. This actually is from Jimmy and Gwen. When we went to his wedding in Texas, her dad owned a flower shop with pottery and this kind of thing, and this was what he gave us to bring home. And it's hung there ever since. Probably dust-filled now, but nobody can see it from there. So, both just garage sale acquisitions, but I think they look very nice with the Aztec, with the Mayan calendar. This, does that say Harmony?
Yes.
This was a gift from Bruce when we first moved here, I think. I don't believe we had this on Harmony Hill. But of course, this is part of Harmony Hill now. These are the roses that Ramo arranged with our neighbor Barbara for our anniversary in March, which turns out to be our last anniversary. We were going to dinner, the four of us, to Bethany to celebrate our anniversary. And when we finished lunch, Barb turned to go some other direction, and I said, "That's not the way home." She said, "I have an errand to do." And she drove into the main part of Bethany and came out later and handed this vase with those flowers to Ramo, who handed it to me and said, "Happy anniversary." And that was all done behind my back. I was so thrilled. He had told her, "I want 3 red roses. I want this vase to be used." And that vase, by the way, Debbie made for me some time back. And so I learned that if you let the water go out of a bouquet while it's still colorful, they will dry like this. So I let them dry. That was in March. This is September. And this rose was brought by hospice in June. So I leave them both because they remind me of different things. Did you remember seeing this at the service?
Yes.
This was at the entrance. Barbara did all the decorations. I wish I had had someone take pictures of all of them. I never have asked Bruce yet if I think he took the picture of our table, but she threw this together. I didn't even know she made it till the day I walked in there. I think that's delightful. Had something that reminded you of the 5 things he was interested in: music, books, golf, camping, and reading. Music, reading, golf, camping, and gardening. So every table had something that represented that, and that was what this was about. All the, I can't see what they are anymore, but I know that they are birds and animals and 3-dimensional.
You said from Ursula?
This had flowers in it. This is from Charlotte. We have Tuesdays with Charlotte here. For 7 years, we've had from 2 to 4. We have coffee and we talk about all kinds of things. This had a little card on it. And I've lost that. Maybe it'll appear sometime by magic like some other things. Because I didn't drink coffee at that point. The 2 of them had coffee, and Raymond was always the one that poured the coffee, and he would pour her a 2nd cup often. So she got this in a teacup at the florist, and it had beautiful flowers in it. And these, to me, are still pretty, so I keep it. And the little card says she estimated she'd had about 3,000 some hundred cups of coffee and about 4,000 second cups. Anyway, this is from Charlotte. A florist in California. I didn't know what they were. They were in a tall box. And I'm here alone, so I opened the top of the box, and I thought at first it was a lamp. So I reached clear down in the box, and to try to take it out, I have to hold the box together with my feet and pull that out, and it turns out to be a plant with a stick in it.
To hold the box?
And the dirt fell on the floor. I sat it up on the table and the dirt fell on the table. But this beautiful plant said there is a gift card enclosed. And I couldn't see the gift card. I couldn't find the gift card. So when Barb came over, we cleaned up the mess. She showed me that it was from a company in California. And it wasn't until a few days later that Bruce told me this was sent to me from the company that employs him. The company is, the mother company is in California. Then Barbara showed me that I didn't have to labor to pull that plant out. If I had eyes to see, it was a dotted line around the middle of that box. I could have just broken it right there and lifted it out very easily, but I didn't see that. So, 3-dimensional. Can you see that if you stand here?
Mm-hmm.
And if you look over here, I'm not sure. I think Debbie and Kathy brought that to Ramo. But we were not going to hang anything on this wall. But that looks so nice there. Kyle and Sarah gave us,
Like a hurricane lamp?
when we first moved here, and I've had it ever since. The vase next to it is a crystal vase that Yvonne Hammer gave us for a wedding gift 31 years ago. And the other two are just cheap vases, but those two are important. This is the nativity scene, I believe she said from Uruguay, I'm not sure. Carolyn Berry brought this several years ago as a gift. She who confesses to be an atheist. I thought that was interesting. This is the nativity scene. But I keep it out in her honor. She's the girl in the black dress in the sextet that was here for the service. I'm not ever going to put away in Christmas decorations anymore. Marlis made this for me in high school, the little carolers. And I've gotten it out every Christmas. But this year I'm leaving it out. I just love it, and I think it's beautiful, and I cherish it. And when I die, I hope she will take it back and use it for her own Christmas. It keeps everything all the time, do they?
No.
I do pretty well with a lot of things.
And Marlis made those? Marlis made those?
What again?
Marlis made those?
Yes.
Okay.
And she made the carolers.
Yes.
She liked ceramics, and she did a good job. This is a mixture. This Dean and Juanita brought from South America, but these two little things were bought at a garage sale. They surround them. But I love them both, so I put them together. Now, this is our gallery. The roses, Maya did the roses finger painting when she was 3. And we thought that was pretty good art for a 3-year-old. And most of these are Maya's and Aiden's contribution. This one was done by Claire. And this ship was done by Aiden when he was 11. He did the pencil, it is not a tracing. He did a pencil drawing from a picture, and then he painted it after he did the pencil drawing.
Nice.
I think it is a remarkable production for an 11-year-old. And if we had both lived another 10 years, we might have the rest of the gallery filled. Autumn leaves over here. Kathy gave those to me when we first moved here. All the colors of autumn, I think they're beautiful. And I haven't put anything else up here because I like to see those standalone, kind of nice. You remember the little, here, the little card that I've kept close? The sweetest, one of the sweetest gifts I ever got from Ramo was for Valentine's Day, probably 5 years ago.
I love you, a bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck, a hug around the neck, and a barrel and a heap, a barrel and a heap, and a talking
And then sleep.
about you.
I love it, and I play it often. And Debbie then got me this. It says, a bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck.
Nice.
Yeah. The Baker family, I got a note just yesterday from Mabel Brubaker, that wonderful Mennonite family that now have 15 children and 2 grandchildren, and we're still in touch. Right above the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. In case you've forgotten. This is the plant that the Gelsky boys got me when I had my pacemaker put in 2012. Kathy and Mike had come to visit, and they brought this plant. But these are the lights that my kids all have now. Maxine had these in her house. She had them in a tall vase like that. They're not very well arranged right now, but we would turn these on at night. Raymond and I sit in our chairs and have the piano light on. And when we listened to our music every night before we went to bed, we could see these lights from the living room, and they just made a nice ambience for our music. And so he would often turn these on just when we had company for lunch even, because he liked them. And I liked them. 4 of these left.
Lovely ladies.
Hmm?
Lovely ladies.
One soprano and 1 second are gone. Both the altos, or Carolyn and I were the altos. And Donna Ray was a second, she's still living, and 1 soprano. So we could still have a quartet. I have these several places, the kissing. But this, Jimmy made this peace pole that have a lot of the sayings on it, Peace Pilgrim. And I like keeping that. Overcome evil with good. That's the main point of her message. Overcome evil with good. That is a wooden copy of the Desiderata that we chose to make an insert of for the service, so that many people who are not familiar with that beautiful writing will become familiar with it. And it was I was first introduced to that piece by Raymond when he came. He was the one who found it on the wall of a friend in California and asked if he could bring it back and copy it in the print shop where he worked. So it has all the paper copy has all the nice printing letters like this one. And it has meant a great deal to both of us ever since. It's a very nice piece. I want Erwin Bruner to know. Erwin Bruner, my wonderful tenor friend living now in Italy. All my children know Erwin. The man I used to accompany in concerts gave me this probably in 1974. No, I was married to Raymond in 1987. Probably somewhere in the 1980s. It's a pencil sharpener. And I keep it. He's clear across the world from me now. This is a total authentic replica of a car like he drove when he was in high school. We used to have two little giraffes here, but I gave them to Maya because I let her pick from all the animals that Raymond has on his desk. She chose the giraffes. He loved these little animals. I'm not sure how this dinosaur got in here. But there he is. These are my favorites. He brought these into the marriage. I'm not sure how he acquired those, but I think they're very sweet.
Those are very cool.
Of course, we must remember the Buddha. This is one of the vases that Raymond brought back from Japan, and he brought one to his mother, and this one he kept. And the rest of these pretty much are just acquisitions, probably garage sales. But this little piece is kind of significant. This is a piece of art done by Whitney. And it was sent with a magnifying lens, and I see these as representing Braille and the magnifying glass to depict my need for vision. And these little birds, oregano, were done by Maya. And when she sent those, she sent them for her grandpa to have beside him. So we put them on here and put them here so he could see them from his chair. And we just sort of see these as kind of like little angels now. Was also probably, I don't know where we ever acquired it, but we do give a lot of credit and credence to the philosophy of Buddhism and believe it teaches us a great deal about how to be a whole person and how to live in the present. Does that help?
That does.
Well, this is my pottery collection, all garage sale, but I love them. This is a music box, but it's broken. So I think I've taken it down from there on purpose. This is the only thing up here that cost anything much. I think we paid $35 for this at an art show where they do whittle. What do you call this? When you're carving. And this is called First Bloom, and it was something we bought in Kansas City. This is very important. This is the, what do you call that animal?
Dolphin?
Porpoise? Not porpoise.
Oh, dolphin? Dolphin?
Ramo loved the smooth wood. We have a friend, Irene Wolf, in Kansas City. All my children know her. They were both artists. And when we would visit them during our marriage, we'd always admire their artwork. And their house was filled with lovely things. But her husband died of Alzheimer's a few years back. And the next time we went to visit them, because she knew that Ramo admired the smooth wood in many things, she gifted him with this statue, this
Nice.
carving. And we love it against the wall. And then this is driftwood over here, that tall piece, that we probably got that at a garage sale or a flea market or something. So we have that up here. This elephant we bought at an estate sale, and this couple had traveled extensively. I love the elephant. These musicians were a gift from Ken Burtkin, and all my kids know Ken Burtkin, whom I'll never see again in my life. But when he was getting ready to move to California, I was helping him pack his apartment, and I admired these, and he said, "Here, take them." I said, "I don't want to take them. You obviously love them." "Yes." He said, "I've loved them for 20 years, and now it's your turn to love them." And so I do. And he also gave me the little soldiers we'll look at in a minute, and he told me the same thing. This is what Bruce brought back to his dad from Brazil, year before last, when they made the trip. He brought him this smooth wood again, like he loves. Piece. This is another one of our very expensive acquisitions. This cost $25. And you'll see this on the mantle of Harmony Hill. For years, we had it on the mantle. I love it in profile. I love it straight on. I always just loved this. 25 cents for beauty that we've treasured. And this we paid 50 cents for, right here in Lamoni. I love this too. This is like Ramo and I. Beautiful wood. Makes me wonder how people can, well, yeah, I know how they can. Once you get tired of them or you don't have room for them, I guess that's when you get rid of them. I love this. These are the little soldiers that Ken Burtkin gave me when he gave me the musicians. Each little soldier is different. This was a gift from Ursula. This was a gift from Kathy. And I don't know if you can pick that message up or not.
Look to the future and not to the past to find those things you want to make last.
Now, this lamp was from my first marriage. And this part was from Aunt Goldie. And we had it converted and have loved it. Message Bruce had done for his dad's 50th birthday, I believe. And these are other pieces that I love. The little keyboard Kathy gave me some time ago. Enough, this is from my second marriage, and these are, I don't know what kind of birds these are, but he had one and I had one, and so when we split, I took this one. I doubt he took the other one, but I don't know where it is. But I just love them because they're freewheeling like me, kind of. You see up here are music boxes. I used to collect them, and when I was teaching, I always gave my student teachers a music box as a gift at the end of the school year. Remo's on the other for now.
Yeah.
See, I'm kind of still expecting Ramo to come back. Not really sunk in deep to me yet, that he's not on a camping trip or something. Theoretically, I know that's not true, but because I feel his presence here so much, when I sit down here to have coffee, I'll put my hand over on the arm of the chair and I still feel his hand. It's just comfortable for me. And I'm not sure how long that comfort will last, or if I'll ever get to the point of feeling his absence. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
It's okay. I can't, and I do talk to him. I haven't heard him back yet, but I did most of the talking in the last part of our life anyway. So, you know, he kind of took me to where I had to be before he took his leave, and that was kind, as he always was about everything. My kids and their music. See, this is this Christopher
I think so.
playing the trumpet?
Yes. Yes.
And this is Joshua. He's playing the flugelhorn in his band uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Loveliest gifts I ever received. We'll start with the loveliest gift. My neighbor in my first marriage, this was in my second marriage, but this is my recital, my senior recital in college, and I had sent her an invitation. She cut it up and cut out the emblem and everything that says I graduated cum laude, and all my voice recital, and decoupaged it. The greatest treasure. I could not imagine anybody doing anything nicer for me. Every bit of information that I worked so hard for is on here. Someplace more prominent. This was from some of my students, I think. I haven't looked at it for a long time.
With sincere appreciation, Harrisburg School, 5th grade, 6th grade band, 1976-77.
Yeah. This one is handmade for my little trombone players.
Wow. I can't really read that, though. I'll have to take a picture.
I had 3 little girls that played trombones. That's usually a boy's instrument.
Let me see. Presented to a great
We can't read it.
music teacher, Mrs. Hunker, on the 21st day of December, 1977, by Jane, Cindy, Vicky, and the 6th grade band.
I wonder where those people are now, and if any of those kids ever, you know, I'll probably never ever know, of course. They given this to one of his daughters. Come in, Sally. Where is it, Sally? The Buddha statement on the wall over there.
Mm-hmm.
In the last 6 months, 3 months, at Raymond's birthday, May 1st, he still had all his siblings. The day after his birthday, his oldest brother, Bob, died. His wife had died 2 years ago. 2 weeks after his birthday, his brother, who lives in Lamoni, lost his wife. And just before Raymond's birthday, he had lost 2 cousins, one in Iowa and one in California. So we had 6 or 7, and then the week after Bonnie's death, his brother's son died in California. He's the one that gave me that plaque. Now, do you remember seeing that in Harmony Hill?
Mm-hmm.
The
tall one?
Yes. That, one day, if you open that up and look at the back of it, it was Anne, my niece Anne, had her own little business with another woman, and they created cards like this. If you look close, there's a quotation on every card, but it was so colorful. On Harmony Hill, we had windowsills like this. And I had colored bottles in the window with all those colors. So that's what was hung right between the windows. I love it. And Raymond made the frame out of native lumber. So that's the first thing you see when you come in the door. And this lamp are both from the same woman who gave Raymond the porpoise. I don't know why she gave us those lamps, but you can't buy lamps like that now. I can't buy pretty lamps that I like anywhere. So, I'm seeing those little things on the window move, and I thought that was the person's head out there getting in your car. Strike that.
Okay.
Recently, both of these lamps were not functioning. And I tried to buy new lamps that I liked, and I couldn't find any within my framework of walking. So I found a young man in town who does odd jobs, and his card says, I can fix anything. Anything you have broken, I can fix. So I called him, and he came and took my lamps and said it would probably cost $100. Well, I didn't think I could buy 2 lamps that pretty that worked for any less than that. So I said, go ahead. How long will it take? He said, I can probably bring them back this afternoon. So that afternoon, I'm sitting out on the deck we are sitting out on the deck, having a glass of wine, and here comes Floyd up the steps, sets the 2 lamps down on the table, and says they're fixed. And I said, how much did you say I owed you? He said, $20. I said, what? That's not what you said. Well, he said, that's what the parts cost. I said, but what about labor? He said, that only took me 20 minutes. So I paid him 50. I was so relieved and happy to have those 2 lamps back. So if I ever have anything broken again, I'll call Floyd. Every one of those, I can't read them now, but every one has a quotation on it. When one of my girls are here, I'll ask them to copy those off so I can put them in my quotation book. This is one of my favorite things. The feathers, the peacock feathers that I found at the thrift shop. And of course, you know who these sweet people are. Yes. This. Who do you think that is?
I really don't know.
We've had a lot of people guess. We've looked up the picture. Some think it's Sir Walter Raleigh. Some think it's, I can't remember the other names because I'm not looking at him. Sir Walter Raleigh, did I say?
Yeah.
He looks like somebody I'd like to know. He may have been cast in order to do ceramics, and they never got him painted. But I just think he's a handsome Caucasian. Horse is one of the favorite things in our house. This was given to me on a Mother's Day way back when we first moved to Harmony Hill by yours truly, Missy Smith. And it has been used and used and used. I don't think I could even count how many names are on that board. And children who come still want to back up on that board. As recently as when Grady and my great-grandchildren were here, you'll find names of every sort. And around here is the rest of it, the poem.
Oh, I forgot about the poem.
That she made it up to go with it. And I've always asked people to read that to me when they are here. This is our big black dog, Patrosh, that you probably never knew.
Nope.
But my kids will remember Patrosh. And these are my grandfather and my uncle and 2 uncles and an aunt and my dad. And these are my brothers, minus 1, taken at a family reunion. I call this my dead wall, but I don't have my brothers, my siblings, my sister and my brother, and this is Jimmy. These are family reunions, and this one, and these are both, that's Ann and Joshua. This, on the other hand, is beeswax, and this is Charles Dickens' home. I paid $25 for that at a shop. It is not a garage sale thing. Ramo used to make these. We would buy the velvet, a little girl's dress or a pair of slacks, and cut it to fit the frame. And this is what is called at a nursery northern oats, but we call it flatgrass. And we raised it on Harmony Hill. It looks like it's already been pressed in a book, but that's the way it grows. So he would pick it and lay out his velvet and lay it the way he wanted it. And on the back he would write, a Ramo original. And that's what's written on the back of this one. It's what's called goat's beard. And it looks like a glorified dandelion gone to seed, but it's really about this big. And it's gold in the center. And they're very fragile. We had a bouquet of those in a big orange vase, and I'm proud of that one that he captured, and it's been hanging there ever since. What's below it is an heirloom from the tombs of Egypt, and if you believe that, I don't know where we got, I don't know what you call that, but it looks nice with the goat's beard, so we hang it there. It's, of course, a garage sale acquisition. This is a gift that came with a box of chocolates, and it's sea candy from California. And that sweet nephew that just was here last week is the one that sent it. I didn't know anything about sea candy. Do you?
They have one in Nebraska Furniture Mart in Kansas City.
They call it the best candy in the world. And when I had this on the table the next morning after I opened it, my neighbor Barbara came over and she said, "Oh my gosh, where did you get that?" And then she told me all about sea candy because she lived in California. So now I just keep it here because it's pretty. These, on the other hand, are cups, commemorative cups that Ramo earned in summer theater when he was still a young man. He played the lead role in On Golden Pond. He played the part of Henry Fonda.
Huh.
One of these cups represents that.
That one in your hand.
The other four, one is, can you read it?
Dr. Seward. Dracula Baby.
Dracula Baby. And this one is
Plaza Suite.
and this one is
Second Time Around.
Second Time Around. And when he came into the marriage, he said, "Oh, you can just throw those away." I said, "Not on your life." And so we didn't, of course. Can you read this?
It says Ramo.
There's one in my bathroom that says Almata. Betty Sandage brought us towels like this from Brazil. And the first time we washed them, they faded all over. So I didn't want to throw the pretty part away. And I cut this off and kept it here. I keep mine hung up like that in the bathroom. I would like to find a place in here to put this where it shows better, but I haven't found a place yet. So we just keep it here. As you think you've got something that nobody else has got. And this is one of my favorite things. I love the little clown. I love it. And another garage sale acquisition. And now we'll look at some other clowns. Ramo liked clowns too. These are some of his favorite clowns. And I like little dolls. And so these are some of my favorite dolls. And fans. We have quite a few. Remember this fan, Missy? This is the one that the little girls all used at the
reunion.
At the family reunion. Yes, beautiful fans. And all the little girls were holding fans. That was so sweet. Such a simple little thing, but fun. And put up a current picture. You recognize anyone in there?
Yeah.
That's a pretty old picture.
It's 2003.
2003?
Yes.
Okay.
I just unpacked mine, but haven't put it up.
I have the book that has that Life's Little Instructions in it. It's from Sri Lanka, and this was Addie Ephraim's gift to us. That was a friend we had in the early part of our marriage. She was in a wheelchair from the age of 2.5, but she wrote manuscripts, typed manuscripts from her desk in her home. Her husband died and her daughter died before we knew her. But then she became acquainted with a man in the Social Security office who was totally blind. And after a period of a few months, they married. And he was from Sri Lanka. In the 5 years that they were married before his death, we knew them quite well. And they made 3 trips to Sri Lanka. Her in a wheelchair, him totally blind. So they set a high mark for other people to follow. Our friends brought us from Ireland. They were our neighbors on Harmony Hill. And they also brought us that Irish hanging on the wall out there. These 2 little saucers are from different countries. Not that we've been there, but we went to their garage sale. 2 of Ramo's favorite pieces. Here's that beautiful wood again. These are also garage sales, but these are road runners.
Oh, nice.
And they're beautiful, and we like them. Raw, raw, raw. This is a Graceland Yellow Jacket. That's their little mascot. And the man who gave me this, I was talking to about family reunions, and this man died this year quite suddenly, just a few months before he was to be married to Larry Raw's sister. That's our friend that runs the sale barn. Kind of a sad story, but I like having this in his memory. This is my favorite teddy bear. Second favorite. Ursula gave me this teddy bear a long time ago, and I love the way it feels. And I don't have any very good place to keep him because he doesn't sit up and he doesn't really lie down, so I just hang him over my books. And he kind of likes it there. You remember this? That's the three of us had.
Sunglasses on.
Yeah. That's Finley, I think. Yeah, Finley. This was taken at Nyla's kitchen the day of Jimmy's memorial service. And it's the only picture I have of my three remaining girls and my three stepchildren and me. I don't know who took that picture, but I cherish it because it's all of us together remembering Jimmy. Mother and my sweetheart forever. Do you have this picture someplace? This is when my kids were 4, 6, 8, and 10. I love it.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. These two pictures are painted by Waltraud from a postcard. And she gave them to Ursula, our German friend, and Ursula gave them to us. And then she framed them for us. And I learned 2 weeks ago that Waltraud, the painter, had just died. So she's gone on to greater things. This is a gift from Debbie when she was doing some craft things instead of, no, she was doing some craft things. And I've always liked that and kept it. She also did a bird, but I think it's not hanging right now. But this is hanging. That's our marriage license and our hands when he still had the original ring.
The original ring.
Yeah.
Something happened to the original ring?
What?
Something happened to the original ring?
Say it again.
Something happened to the original ring?
Yes. He lost it. At Iowa Retina one day, actually these rings were designed and made by my boss at Western Auto. He designed rings, and we bought these together, and we were in an appointment one day waiting to go in, and I looked down and he didn't have his ring on. I said, "What happened to your ring?" "What do you mean?" And his ring was gone. And he said, "Well, I had it on this morning. I seldom ever take it off." And so it was a shock to us. To make a long story short, we asked the people, we had half of that floor of people down on their hands and knees looking everywhere. And all we could think of was that he had washed his hands after he went to the bathroom. And I feel sure, and he does in retrospect, that he took it off with him. So we asked if we could look through the paper towels, and they said, "We will." And I wish now we had, that we would have probably been more thorough and more careful, because we never ever found it. And I feel sure that it probably, because of its weight, worked down in the bottom of that and it was gone. But Ursula, our German friend, had become engaged to a man and broke the engagement when she found out
Something.
some other things. And she offered us 2 rings. her father's wedding ring or the ring she was going to give to Bill. And Ramo chose the ring she was going to give it to Bill. And this is it. So this is the ring he wore. And it's on this chain, but Debbie has promised to bring me a much shorter chain because I want to wear it. And I want it to be only about up to here. So this is his wedding ring, but that's the original ring, picture of the original ring.